So, I'm a bit of a mad scientist. I'm a bit of a experimenter, a tinkerer, and I like to mess around with things. I like to twist knobs. I tell my students, they say, I don't understand how reverb works. Say, put reverb on the channel and turn something, move something around, make some noise, make some change on the fader. A lot of times people will turn mixes into me in Pro Tools or Logic and no fader has been moved. I'm like, this is not mixed. But you have to mess with stuff. You have to change stuff. You have to break stuff sometimes to see how it's going to work. And so that's kind of the point behind these 9 experiments that I'm doing in September, the 9th month, and just trying some different things. I'm not afraid, especially with stock music, where it doesn't matter really what you do, it seems, right? It doesn't matter if you put everything at $50, put everything at $5. It doesn't really seem to make a difference. So I'm going to just mess with stuff and see what happens and do some experiments to see what can happen. Aviel says, I've been thinking about using social media as extra income, selling my songs to Pond 5 to show new audiences my work. Yeah. Hey, Rhett, how are you doing? Glad you're here today. Glad you made the stream. We are going to get into some crazy stuff here in the next hour here. I just think that we've got to experiment. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Glad all of you are joining the stream right now. And also, if you have comments on any of these 9 experiments, these evil experiments that I am running over the course of September, please leave it in the comments below if you're watching later, or if you're watching right along here, I'll be glad to answer any questions about this, and we will talk about each one of these. So let's not waste any time. Let me tell you that if you are somebody who is new to this channel, you can absolutely check out a bunch of stuff that we have free at makemusicincome.com. You can also check out my ebook, The Stock Market, at makemusicincome.com/stock market. It's proving to be a very popular ebook, and it's really inspiring one of the experiments of this month. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Yeah, Arco, you should definitely be on Ed Hartman's community, and he does great stuff. But yeah, I am going to have free stuff on makemusicincome.com. If you're just watching this video or finding this channel for the first time, make sure you go to makemusicincome.com and click on the free tab. And there's some free courses and free ebooks and different stuff in there. All right. So yeah, I've linked to Ed's site from the very beginning in every one of my videos, and Jesse's and Daniel's and Stevie's and everybody's. That's just what I believed in when I started this channel. My goal was to kind of become a partner with all of those people. And there's something brewing in that too. That's another experiment. I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but there's something brewing with me and Stevie and other people that we're kind of messing with. So we'll talk to you more about that. As you can tell through our channels, we like talking to each other. Stevie and I do a podcast, and we're going to be shooting that here in just a little while after this is over. Dave Croft has filled in for Steve before, and Dave and I have done videos. Yesterday, you may have seen that Steve and Dave did a video on Steve's channel. You need to go check that out. And I've talked with Clint Music. I've talked a lot with Jesse. And so, these people who are also in our space that teach music income things, teach licensing things, so on, like Ed, all these people, they're always, every single video in the description of every video I have. And that's on purpose because you can learn from them as well as learn from me. So I think you should absolutely check out all those things. Okay, I'm going to save some questions for later because I want to get into the content today and really make sure that I get going, because these lives can tend to ramble, and I'm a rambler, but I'm also an experimenter. And one of my first experiments this month is not probably so outside the box you've never heard of it, but it concerns Pond 5. Um, you know what? Of all the questions I get on my channel, Pond 5 is probably the most involved library that people talk about. And it makes sense because Pond 5 is basically the very first place I think that you should get started. I have a video called Start with Pond 5. I'll try to remember to go in and put it right up here. But and you can also just find it on my channel if for some reason I don't get it linked. But these lives are a little harder to edit. But absolutely go and check that out because I believe that's where you should start. You should start at Pond 5 when you are thinking about getting into this. So if anybody who is here today and is watching, that's why the way I say to get started. Just because if you're working in stock, it's a great place to begin your stock career. It's also a great place just to put everything and make it your library, especially since they don't have an Audible watermark anymore. It really works great as a way to show off your music. But this month with Pond 5, I've gotten some Pond 5 checks lately. I've had a consistent number of sales since I changed things to $5. Although I will tell you that I have changed prices to $5 except for what I consider my higher end stuff. And that I believe is $20. But I'm going to try something new. My first experiment is trying something new at Pond 5, and that is to let Pond 5 set the price for every song that I have. Now, you might be saying, but what if they set every song for $5? Dudes, I've already done that. I've already set every song at $5. What am I afraid of that I'm not going to make any money there? I don't really make that much money there anyway. And if they do set everything at $5, well, then we'll just roll with that for September and see what happens. I've had other months where everything has been $5 at Pond 5, and I've had tons of sales, or when I say tons, maybe 10 to 20 per month, which again is not a lot with when you're only making $1 or $2, but it is more songs going into these people's videos and videos possibly bringing in Content ID. By the way, Content ID is very late. I haven't seen a Content ID update for June yet, and we're into September. So wondering what's going on there. If anybody has any thoughts about that, put it in the chat or the comments, but haven't seen that. But like I said, I'm going to let Pond 5 set the price. Will they put it at $5? Maybe they will. Most of my stuff is already at $5, so it's not going to hurt me. But I've heard in our Discord that some people have seen Pond 5 putting stuff up at higher prices and selling them there. And there's also the notion that Pond 5 or AudioJungle or any of these places where you can set the price might want the price higher so they can sell it higher. Maybe they want the price to be $20, $30, $40 so that they can actually make something off the sale too. If it's at $5, they're not making anything either. So it's possible if they have an algorithm, it might choose not to show $5 songs when people are searching just because it doesn't want, it wants to make more money as a library. So we'll see. Can't hurt. I'm going to let Pond 5 set the price for every song, even what I consider my higher end non-exclusive material that's on there. And again, the goal is to get more sales, but more songs that might possibly bring in Content ID money. I think just like we think about exclusive stuff and getting on TV shows and getting on advertising and all that kind of stuff, we think about that from a place of, well, if I don't get an upfront, at least I will get back in through my PRO, through BMI or something. And so I'm starting to have that kind of thinking with stock music. If it's going to pay super low, then I better see if I can make something in the back end. If I'm only going to make 35 cents for Motion Array, then I better work Motion Array. Hopefully I'm going to find something and have, like I have right now, a song that's heading towards 1 million plays on YouTube that's making me $50 or more a month just through Content ID. So So anyway, AudioJungle is the next experiment. So the next experiment, I'm going to be doing a similar thing with AudioJungle, except not the same. I'm going to be um, doing something quite different, actually. Um, I changed my prices, as I may have talked about in an earlier video, on AudioJungle to higher prices. Now, I know a lot of people tune out at this point because they're like, I can't get an AudioJungle, so I don't know what to do about that. But if you are an AudioJungle, I think that it is different than Pond 5. I think it is different in a way that you can't go low. I think $5 looks like to me that it hurts you a little bit on AudioJungle. Now, if you disagree, put that in the chat or the comments, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Well, after I finish this AudioJungle, we'll talk about Pond 5 and AudioJungle. But tell me in the comments if you think that AudioJungle, cheap AudioJungle, works for you if you are on an AudioJungle. Does price show quality there? Does price show quality on Pond 5? It's another question you have to think about. Do you get more downloads because people think that you have a better sounding or library because it's more expensive? So is AudioJungle a more choosy crowd that's after quality? So I'm going to go through there and keep all my basic royalty-free stuff on AudioJungle at the $20 price where I've got them now. But some things I'm going to take up to higher prices. I'm also going to fiddle and experiment with the broadcast prices, the big $1 million and up broadcast prices, and really shoot those up to where they should be. I got a $90 broadcast license last month from AudioJungle, and that contributed to finally getting a paycheck from them this month. So that kind of thing, I need to make sure that price is high enough, because if someone is buying a broadcast license to use it in a Netflix film or something like that, then I want to make sure they're paying the right price. I want to make sure that they're not paying 20 bucks, that they're not paying, maybe 90 bucks is too low. And so I have to go through and adjust those and look at those. I know what it suggests that I put them in, but I think AudioJungle is another place that I'm going to experiment with and see if I can't fix that and fix that by having higher prices. So let's see what people are saying here. Avio says, do you recommend dividing song composition into multiple parts and selling them individual? I think we mean different song arrangements and or stems, and 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. It doesn't hurt if you have the time to do that. I think that people do buy them. I don't sell a ton of them, so I personally have kind of stopped doing that. I've just decided to not do a lot of 15s, 30s, and 60-second versions, just because I'm not sure that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that people who are doing commercials are shopping on Pond 5 for 15-second clips. Personally, as a video editor, I want as long as I can get, and I'll chop up what I want rather than going and getting their 15 or 30-second version. Who knows if they made it right? I can go in and do that myself. And anybody who's worth their bones that is downloading music for use in something, especially a video editor, is going to be able to whip out the 15 or 30-second clip they want of the song. So I don't worry about that. I do make a loop version in most cases. If something is in grid, I will go ahead and make a loop version because that's fairly easy. And I think those are more useful so that video editors can plop them onto the timeline and put them one after the other and just keep looping it. I know I do that all the time with some of my songs when I'm using background songs. It's just easier to use the loop. Then I don't have to create the loop. So Avio says Pond 5 doesn't allow you to put a lot of stems from the same song. Yes, they do, Avios, but they put them on as separate songs. So instead of one song on AudioJungle and then having 9 extra versions of it, all included in that one download, Pond 5 lets you put up all 10 stems. So to me, that's a better deal, and it's a better possibility for something being found. Now, you can organize them. I've heard yay and nay, I should say, on if you should organize them within Pond 5 because people might not find them as easily. But I don't know if I have a big care about that either way. Nick, glad you also caught us live. He said, finally caught you live. I'm glad you caught me live. Fret Noise, great to be here. You made it to a live broadcast. Congratulations. Signature Music, hey, how's it going? AudioJungle stopped receiving submits from new composer. Yes, sorry. That AudioJungle information is more for AudioJungle people who have been in before, gosh, when they cut it off a year and a half ago. And so I doubt that's going to open. That's why I don't talk about AudioJungle as much anymore. It's more for composers who are out there doing it now. So not sure I can do much about that. But that was just some information on what I'm doing on AudioJungle. It could apply to any place else you can set the price. Songtradr is a place you can set the price, I believe. But it's not really a library as much as it's a lot of things. Let's see what else we got here. Arco says, I was thinking to join the MLC. If I'm not wrong, distributors collect mechanical royalties. Do you have any other benefits after joining MLC? I'm not sure. I know the MLC collects. I just had a big, oh, by the way, you guys got to know about this. I just had a big conversation yesterday with a publisher on Music Row that will be debuting Wednesday next week. And that in that video, we go over everything publishing, from copyright to what a music publisher does and how they work. We go over all sorts of stuff, including the MLC and Content ID and all that kind of stuff, and how publishers look at that. And I believe in the States, the MLC collects Spotify royalties from mechanical royalties and that kind of thing. Whereas these are royalties that are paid to you that are not caught by BMI or things like that. So not performance royalties, but mechanical royalties. It's called the Mechanical Licensing Collective, I believe it's what it's called. And so, yeah, I don't know how it works around the world. All I know is how it works in the US, thanks to the Modernization Act, Music Modernization Act that they passed here in the US. So I'm not sure how the MLC works around the world, but you definitely should check them out for sure. Mix Club says, it can help on Pond 5. The more you sell, the higher you get bumped up within the algorithm. So I think you will find help. So I think this will help them find your A+ works. Maybe. I think those of us who have put stuff at 47, as we all learned from the progenitor of music on stock libraries, our friend Daniel from Stock Music Licensing, he just continues to recommend that you put everything at $40-something. Now, he says that, and I don't know if he's changed that. He hasn't really talked in depth about stock music for a while. He's putting out little videos every week now that talk a little bit about stock music for just a minute. But his advice used to be everything should be $47, including your 15 seconds, all those kind of things. I have noticed, though, on his library that he doesn't seem to do that consistently anymore, and it's got everything down, a lot of things down at $5 like the rest of us. And same with AudioJungle. The prices are not as high as they used to be when we were watching these videos a year ago or a year and a half ago. It's changed, folks. So we've got to experiment. We've got to move around and do different things. Yeah, Rhett says that's the thing, or Arco says that's the thing you need to sell in that ocean of songs. And maybe it's some combination of having things at $5, some combination of having just tons of songs. I have 200, I'm moving towards 250 songs or 250 pieces of music in Pond 5. I know many of you have more, but yes, you've just got to do all these things to somehow get the algorithm kind of in your favor. All right, so let's move on to the next experiment that I'm going to be doing, and this involves Songtradr. You know, I'm kind of going in this order. I'm not talking about Motion Array. None of this stuff has to do with Motion Array. I do have one thing I'll be doing this month with Motion Array, but I'll talk about that later. But number 3 is some experiments I'm going to do at Songtradr. First of all, putting a lot of stuff up there that I haven't put up. I have to say that Songtradr has brought in income this year at the free level. I have 3 accounts on there, and uh, I have made I don't know what it is now for the year, 50 to $100 from Songtradr, but without any payment to them. So they have become one of, actually, it's probably 100, more than 100 now. But through their monetization, distribution, and a lot of different things that I do with them, I'm making money without paying them this year. This is the first year I haven't paid them a yearly fee. And so the experiment for the year really was to see how Songtradr did, and it's doing. I probably won't pay them again. I will continue to upload songs, continue to put them in all their monetization things. I do have a video that you can see on my channel. I'll try to remember to put it right up here with Songtradr. I got to write all these down that I got to put up these. But if you don't see it up there, go to my videos and look for my Songtradr video. And I go through all the monetization things that they do to make you money. And those are making me money, even at the free level this year. So I've got to spend the time and upload songs there. Those distribution payments, if you distribute through there, it's free. I mean, even on the free level, it's free. And they'll take some, a chunk out, maybe, I don't know what they take, 30%, something like that. But their distribution seems to pay as good as anybody's, as good as DistroKid, as good as anybody. And I have a few things that I kind of experimented with putting stuff through there on distribution out to Spotify, and it pays very well. And again, all their other monetization things that pay, they don't pay you if you don't have a bunch of songs up there. So load up those songs. It takes a little time. Might devote a morning to Songtradr and just put everything up to Songtradr. It takes a few screens to get through it. But as with any of these things, once you kind of get a system, you can kind of put them up there quickly. You can upload all the songs at one time and then go in and tag them as you want to. But I need to catch up on Songtradr, get a bunch more stuff up there. And another great non-exclusive place to put your songs. That's not necessarily a stock library. It's not at all a stock library. I think they do have a stock library way for you to get in one of them, but you have to let them do your content ID, and I won't let them do that. So I can't get in there. I think it is story blocks. You can get in story blocks through Songtradr if you're willing to give Songtradr your content ID. But I don't think that content ID at Songtradr is a very good deal. So I won't be doing that. But I will be experimenting with putting more stuff into Songtradr to try to up that income this year. Every one of these little incomes, Pond5, AudioJungle, Songtradr, Content ID, all of them, Motion Array, all of them, you may or may not make a lot on them. But as they add up, you can get to a place where you're making 100, 200, and 300 a month. There are people who concentrate only on Motion Array. It's somebody I'm going to talk to later today. I'm not going to say his name, Stevie B. But anyway, he does regularly, sometimes over $2,000 a month on Motion Array. But he does something that a lot of people don't do, and that is really focuses on what is hot on Motion Array and only does that, and only does 1 to 3 songs a month to that. And that's his focus. And that's why he succeeds, I believe, on there. I make whatever I want and throw it all up there, see what happens. But I am going to do an experiment on that. I'll talk about that experiment in a minute. So the next 3 things, maybe 4 things, are related to YouTube. Now, don't tune me out, because you may tune into this channel and say, oh, I only want to do stock music licensing, and that's fine. But some of you, and I see a few of you who are having success at this, are starting YouTube channels where you're putting your music up and then sending them to your Pond5s, to your AudioJungles, to your Motion Arrays, so that people can download your music and find you on YouTube, possibly even find you at Spotify, although you really can't direct people from, I guess you could possibly direct people from Spotify to your website or to your YouTube page or whatever. But I think starting a YouTube channel and putting your music on there is an idea. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But I personally, my experiment this year, and you've already seen it on this channel, you've seen a flurry of activities, a bunch of new lives happening at the end of the week on this channel. I'm trying an experiment today by putting this on Thursday instead of Friday. You can tell me in the chat or in the comments below if you like Thursday better or Friday better for lives at 11 a.m. ET, Eastern Time in the States. If you are around the world, I would love to know if this is hard for you to catch because of the time. I can't really do it much later. I could do it an hour later, but that's only going to make it later in Europe. And I know from a recent poll that people in Europe are twice what so far in the poll what people are answering from the US. And so I know I have a large audience in the across the sea and around the world. So I want to make sure that the time I pick for the lives that we can all sit here and talk together is a good time. So put in the chat where you are, what time it is. I know it's probably Arco, it's probably the latest for you, but the latest wins a prize. I don't know what the prize is yet, but the latest person whose time it is right now wins a prize. I'm not sure what the prize is going to be yet, but I think it's going to be Arco, just saying. But yeah, just go ahead and put that in the chat right now. And also, if you're watching this, and put the time that 11 a.m. Eastern Time is for you when every day, because I think it's the best time. I've thought about doing it earlier, but the problem is then Ronan has to get up at the crack of dawn in Los Angeles. And I also have Australian people, and I don't know what time it is there. I think, gosh, it's probably the middle of the night there. But so it's hard to find that time to go live so that everybody, I can get as many people watching as possible. And should it be Thursday or should it be Friday, which is the better day? Friday has done pretty good the past few months. So I'm experimenting with that to see how I can do that. I'm experimenting with Mondays. I either have our podcast that premieres or I have a big Monday video like I did this week, which was my producing video. If you haven't seen my producing video, I'll put it up here when I get to edit this video, or you can just look at my stream. It was the last video that I put out about how I built my music production career. So you should go take a look at that because I really lay it out. If you want to make more music income, this is an experiment. This is all you got to do is do these steps. You have to start and you have to go around out of your laboratory and all these kind of things that really worked for me to build a 5 and 6 figure music income from producing, which still is my top income, even with teaching and this channel and all the other things that I do and licensing. But my video channel, I really want to continue these lives at the end of the week. I really like doing them. It's easy for me to do because there's not much editing. Once 24 hours go by, I can get rid of like the front part where I'm trying to make sure the sound is working and all that kind of stuff. And then I can kind of go in and massage that a little so that anybody watching later is watching it and gets the video going right away, which is better than them kind of having to sit through a bunch of me chatting with people or seeing if the sound works. But I think 2 days seems to be enough to let a video get its legs and then move on. So my real goal is Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos. And that's what I did last week. This week I didn't because I wanted to try a live on Thursday and see how it does. We're at about 20 people right now watching average. And so that's not bad. I just want to make sure that I'm putting on the right day at the right time. So let's see what you say about that. Arco says it's 8:30 p.m. here. So it's all right for me. Cool. Avio says Colombia, 10:31. Thanks for tuning in from Colombia. Cool. Fred Noise from Japan, 12:30 a.m. So you're up late. In Austria, it's 17:31. All right. Explain. I'm not a military time person, so that means 5:31, right? That's pretty good, right? At dinner time. Mixed Club is in Illinois, 10:30 a.m. I think that works fine. Yes, Nick, Tennessee. I used to be on Central Time. 4:30 p.m. in the UK, right? That seems about right, right, Linda? I mean, I think that would seem right. 6:30 in Ukraine seems right. UK, and we began watching it at 11, so you guys are 5 hours past me. So I think that works. 5:31 in or 17:31 in Italy, 5:31 for Luca, 4:30 for Signature in the UK. So, um, yeah, I think this fret noise so far is certainly winning the late prize. That's true. I didn't. I for some reason fret noise. I forgot you were in Japan. I remember seeing it in the Discord, but yeah, I guess you do win the prize. I'm going to have to think of what the prize is, but uh, would love to. Maybe we could talk a little bit on Discord privately or something about the question you have or something. But thank you for everybody for tuning into this. Now the next question is: do you care about Thursday or Friday? Does it even matter? Um, does the day matter? Because my goal, I think, I really would like to get it edited so that through the weekend people can watch it, but it doesn't seem to matter. Um, hey, Marty, thanks for joining from Vancouver. I know what time it is over there. He's 3 hours behind me. It, so it's not. It's what is it? 8:36 there. So oh, no wonder Steve hasn't answered me. He's probably not awake yet. I've been texting him about our our thing today. So, Steve, if you're here, let me know. You got my. I can't really look at any notes right now. So, yeah, I'm still experimenting. Talk about experimenting. I'm really experimenting with when this live is going to be, what time and what day. I think it's going to be Friday at 11 a.m. and that seems to work for everybody. And we get a good crowd through the hour. It takes about a half hour for everybody to jump in, but once they do, we are rolling. And wow, good to see everybody in all the different places. We have Austria, Japan, Colombia, India, um, Ukraine, UK, Italy, and just everywhere, all over the United States. I just really appreciate everybody joining in. So Marty says he is feeling the candle at both ends after a late recording session last night. Yeah, I have a late night almost every weeknight now that I teach. So I get that for sure. Well, let me get into some more. I think we are up to number 5, and this also concerns YouTube. And this is a real experiment. And if I can even do this, we're going to have to just see. But I think what I'm going to try to do is on my channel that I had started right before I got this job called Hello Composers. I want to start maybe by doing one live video there per week. And perhaps this might be on Tuesday. This might be on Tuesday. So there would be a second live from me. But on Tuesdays, we would only be discussing music. We will not be talking um, anything about money making, anything about Pawn 5, anything like that. All we're going to be talking about is we're going to be picking a topic. I'll be talking about a song that I've written and possibly even doing music reviews of songs. If you remember, I used to do music reviews, and that was very popular here on this channel. And I'm going to continue that, but it's going to be on the Hello Composers site. Hello, Composers. And so I really want to get back to that channel, and finding time to do it is the hard part. But by doing a live, I don't have to do any editing. Once I do the live and I talk to everybody and I dispense the information I have and talk about the song. The secret is going to be in having the right software to do it, because I like using YouTube live directly like this for a better picture. I think it gives me a better, sharper image, and I kind of am a quality freak, so I kind of like that. So yeah, I'm going to I thank you, Arco. I know a lot of people are saying uh, they're ready for Hello Composers to get going again. And I was having fun with it, but then I got this other job, and make music income became about the only thing I could keep up with. But now that things are calming down, and I majored and did my master's in music composition. Music composition is what I want to talk about and do. And so this also gives me a way to talk about my compositions of all my different brands. and then teach lessons about some of the theory behind that, some of the ways I made those songs, some of the ways that I decided to create and what chords I chose and why, what sounds I chose and why. Oh, speaking of sounds, we don't have the magical board up. Let's turn it on. Ta-da! Now we have blue. It's kind of a blue episode anyway, if you saw the thumbnail. Sorry about that. But anyway, all right, excellent. Yeah, follow the Mix Club. Rhett and I on the Mix Club are going to do an episode here soon to talk about his channel and talk about his life as a music producer. As you may have seen on Monday, I did a whole episode on music production, and that's just the first video in a playlist that I'm developing on. I shot more for that video I haven't got into. That not this week coming up, maybe, but the week after, I'm going to get into my secret sauce. My secret sauces, actually, of how I made music income and how I still make music income as a music producer. So we'll talk about that on the Make Music Income channel. But hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll see an email or something on the channel of Make Music Income channel about the kind of restart up a little bit of Hello Composers. And I'd like to speak to all of you as composers and maybe even have some something more than just a live like this, something more like a thing where we Skype together, or I should say Zoom together, and we talk and maybe have even a composers get together every so often, once a month, and really just answer questions from people on video. So that's all part of what Hello Composers is going to be about. I want to talk to composers. I want to say hello to you, and I want to give you information about composing and about theory and other things. So that is number 5 of the 9. So let's move on now to number 6, which also concerns YouTube, but this really, actually, I said the first bullet point I have for this is where I am headed in a future video. Well, that future video looks like it's going to be in about an hour with our friend Stevie B. It's what I call more everything, taking a song and doing everything with it, not just putting it in Motion Array or putting it in Pond 5, but also putting it out to Spotify. Also, if it's a song that fits this, making it into sheet music, making a music video of it, putting it on YouTube for that particular brand or your music's YouTube channel. Take one song, do everything with it, especially if you're a one song at a time person. I know there are some of you out there that are not necessarily people who do more than one song at a time, just because either you don't have time or you like to work on one thing at a time instead of me who works on 100 balls in the air at the same time. And you might think, is this impossible? Can I possibly write a song, compose a song, produce a song, and then instead of just tossing it up to Pond 5 and a few other places, VFine, stuff like that, and just watching it do nothing, could I also go ahead and make a cover for it, put it on out through DistroKid or someplace that is going to put it onto Spotify, and then take that and also maybe it's piano and vocal, or maybe there's a way to make sheet music and sell it on sheet music sites. Could you also, is this something that you could do something else with, and make a beat out of it and sell it on BeatStars? We're going to talk about BeatStars down towards the end of this list. But is it something that you can do many things with? And that's what we're going to talk about today, or I should say on Monday. You'll be seeing the new podcast with Steve and I, and we're going to be talking about this. Can you do everything per song? I mean, it sounds daunting, and talk about an experiment, but it's something I really want to work on in September. So I invite you to join me in this little experiment and see if we can make a song and just make just Spotify alone. And I don't mean just Spotify. When I say Spotify, it's starting to become like Coca-Cola. It means, give me a Coke. Well, that means a cola. Spotify these days means Spotify plus Apple Music plus every other one that's out there, Tidal, whatever. But can we take every song that we do and get it out to all the non-exclusive places we can put it on, Songtradr, all these things. Get all the monetization things happening. Put it out to our content ID person so that we're getting that content ID possibility. Getting out to all the DSPs so we're getting the possibility of it being found on Spotify and other places. Getting it out to YouTube, to your YouTube channel for your music brand or brands, and getting it seen that way and found that way on YouTube. One of the greatest, probably, I think Spotify and YouTube are the two greatest music discovery things on the planet right now. And so if you can put those out through that, maybe if your music is good for sheet music, I'm also I've already talked about sheet music in a recent video. That's still a focus of mine. And then yeah, certainly these are things you might pitch to exclusive libraries too. And the beauty with exclusive libraries is that you can take them down from your non-exclusive places, but you can leave it up in Spotify in most cases. All my non-exclusive stuff is currently on Spotify, or if it's not, I'm putting it up there and putting those singles up so that they are findable. Should somebody use one of my songs in Europe or anywhere around the world, and they Shazam it, they can find out that song and where to buy it on Spotify. So that's more income. So everything to every place. This will be something Steve and I go into on Monday on our podcast. So that's just a little bit of a tease towards that. All right, number 7 of the 9 things. I am really going to work this month and experiment on a second ebook. The first ebook, and again, if you do not have my ebook, The Stock Market, let me tell you, this thing is proving the model that if you give people a lot of live free content, or not live necessarily, but free content like this, like my channel, like my podcast, then the possibility exists for them buying items from you. Now, this stock market book is under $10. It's not expensive. And it's just a PDF. It's nothing huge and fantastic. So it shouldn't cost $50. I do not have any kind of a academy or anything like that, and I don't have any plans to. I like making this content and talking about my experiences on this. But I have been writing ebooks and writing books for a very long time, and blogs and things like that. And so I do think that I could put together my experience. And the stock market is a perfect example of I know where I get this question every week. I got it last week. I get it every day, it seems. Where do I find all the stock music libraries, and how do I get into them? And what advice would you give me for each one of them? That's what this book does right here. It puts all that information at your fingertips. I made it purposely as a PDF because, number one, everything's changed so much with the stock music licensing market, and number two, it's just a better resource, I think, for you to have for getting in these markets, so that you could just go to the PDF and click on the link and go right to the library that you want to try and start putting your music in there. So to me, this was the first thing I wanted to do. It was the first thing that was asked of me. People asked me how to find these libraries, and so it continues to be the right, and it's selling very well, and I'm just so thankful for it. So this month's experiment is working on a ebook for sync licensing and how I got into it. Not necessarily what the results are, but certainly what I am making from it. So this is certainly something that I'm working on, experimenting with, and hopefully in the next few months you'll see my new sync ebook, and it'll go right alongside the stock market. And then I'll move on to production maybe, and talk and make a ebook about how I became a 6-figure music producer and how I continue to make 5 figures from music producing and things like that. So these kind of ebooks are experiments. You don't know if people are going to like them. So that's another, that's number 7 of the 9 experiments I'm doing this month. So, all right. Number 8 is more Hallowmas. I am making more. I did a library of tunes last year. And when I say library, it was only 6 tunes. But I made this library called Hallowmas, which was Halloween and Christmas kind of combined, kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And so, yeah, I'm going to try that again this year, do some more. I might do more with vocals this year, that really let me expand out. And I'm actually talking to my exclusive library if he's interested in that kind of thing, or one of my exclusive libraries if he's interested in that kind of music. Christmas music for darker Christmas movies or darker Christmas TV shows. As we all know, on Netflix or Hulu or wherever, or the movie theaters, there's a lot of Christmas movies that are dark. They're dark comedies, they're horror movies, they are, but they're around Christmas, and all of those need some kind of music. So that might be something that you can do if you are interested in that kind of music. I love Christmas music, but you can only do Jingle Bells so many times. But let me tell you this, I did Jingle Bells in a minor key and did this whole version I call Jingle Skells because it was called March of the Skeletons. And that is the song that I don't know where it was found. I don't know if it was found. I can't seem to trace where the person bought it or got it from. But I guess maybe Motion Array, because I can't really tell. But that's the song that is currently on a YouTube video that is bringing me about $50 a month just because it's getting so many views. It's almost, I think it's up to 800,000 views now. And there we go. I just made a song that I wanted to make that I thought was funny and cute, and I had this idea. So I'm going to be making some more of these Halloween Christmas songs that I call Hallowmas that kind of span both, but could be used in a dark Christmas movie or film or things like that. And that's the kind of thing that kind of out of the box experimentation thinking is what you've got to do to get. I think those of you who, and I know those of you, there are people in this chat right now. I know people watching this video who know how to make a song that they just are sure, or they're pretty sure that Motion Array is going to love, and then it's going to become a bestseller there and make them way more than $300 a month, maybe 2,000 a month. And it can happen with the right songs there. But these little specialty songs can also work and be consistent income things that I get. And so, yeah, that's basically what I want to do in September is get all of those ready and out, because by October it's too late. So more Hallowmas. I would imagine P5, Pond 5 already had a brief today about wanting more Halloween music. So I'm going to make sure they get that. But also Motion Array briefs. I would bet you there's going to be a Motion Array brief wanting Halloween music here soon. So we all should hustle and get some Halloween music cranking so that you can get into these kind of things. AudioJungle seems to sell this stuff pretty good and accept it pretty good. All of the places the non-exclusive places that I want this Hallowmas album. It's going to go out eventually as a album on Spotify and a YouTube channel. I think the actual I use a lot of different of my brands on the Hallowmas recordings, but yeah, I really need to do that, and you need to do that. We all need to be getting to more Halloween stuff right now in September, because that is very important for what we're doing here. And then number 9 is something I've been wanting to look into for a while, and that is BeatStars. And sorry if you hear my dog barking back there. Somebody is outside and they're trying to fix something. But BeatStars is something that I am trying to get to, and trying to take some of my songs that are currently on my video stations and my video on my audio Pond 5 and places like that, and reuse those on BeatStars. If you don't know what BeatStars is, it's a place where people download beats in order to get them into the hands of people who need beats and tracks. They call them beats, but I call them tracks, full tracks that people can use and put on and put on their records. I heard from the BeatStars president at one point that everybody at BeatStars, at least at any time of the year, 3 to 4 of the top 200 or 100 songs that are in Billboard are from BeatStars. The tracks are from BeatStars. And so if you're part of that, that is money for you on the back end from Spotify or from wherever, where you are going to be making money with BeatStars. Now, BeatStars is different so far in my investigation, in my experiment with it, in that you can only sign up and put up 10 songs at a time. So only 10 songs at a time can you put up on a free account. You can then sign up for more and then put more up. But I'm going to just try about 3 or 4 different of my brands, put them on 3 different BeatStars accounts, and see if I can get any interest in some of these tracks on BeatStars. I don't know anything about this other than I have students walking in who are rappers all the time, pulling tracks down and putting beats to them and adding stuff to the beat that they pull down or the track that they pull down, and adding stuff to it. And you sell those just like you sell them at Pond 5. So that is BeatStars, and that is number 9 of my experiments for September. There's more things I want to do. I could probably go on and on with this list, but I think that gives you an idea of what I want to do for that. So let's look at the chat here. Nick says, "Mad scientist, LOL." Indeed, mad scientist. I am absolutely the mad scientist of the sync and stock community. But I think we're all trying things. We're all trying everything that we can do. And Lucas says, "This is what I'm doing with BeatStars, distributing my songs to the store, Spotify, videos on YouTube, SoundCloud, and everything with Content ID, and of course on libraries too." Great. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Luca. Fret Noise says, "I have 2 albums of lo-fi Christmas stuff. I got to jump into stock and get all that up there." Yeah, you might as well. There is no reason to not put songs that you have sitting around, non-exclusive songs, into Pond 5, into Motion Array if you're on there, into any of the libraries, Songtradr, any of those things. Why not put everything up? That's the whole point of non-exclusivity, is that you are not tied anywhere. You can put it on Spotify, you can put it on YouTube, you can put it in Content ID, you can do all those things. You own all of that. So not that exclusive doesn't have its place and can actually probably make you a better living eventually, but non-exclusive means put that stuff up everywhere. Mix Club says, Rhett says, "I have thought about messing around with BeatStars." Yep. Well, I'm going to do an experiment, and you're going to see a video here probably sometime this fall about what happened with me with BeatStars, even if it was nothing. Fret Noise says, "Would you take your current tracks and cut out the leads, be the approach of putting them on BeatStars, selling beats?" Well, I don't know. I think that I may put them up as is. I guess maybe I'll take out some leads. I don't really have vocals in them, so I do have some songs that have vocals, but yeah. So yeah, I definitely want to do this and try it out, and we'll let you know how that goes. Hail Bob, good to see you in here. Arco says you read about them in a blog. A mixed club. Learned some stuff today. Well, good. Glad to know that. Nick, the look makes it haha, but they are great ideas. Yes. The I again, sorry about the thumbnail. I was messing around and I had an idea and I just wanted to do it. All right. Well, everybody, that's about all I have for this. If you've got any further questions and you're here in the chat, make sure you ask if I've missed anything. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything in the chat. My dog's going crazy in there. There's people here trying to fix stuff or not fix stuff. I guess all my chat is here. The chat looks a little frozen on my side, but everything else seems to be going pretty good. Oh, here's live chat. Okay. So looks like I haven't missed anything. Arco, good luck preparing for auditioning for music production in Berlin. I'm not really sure what that means. Oh, so you might be moving there. That's very cool. Well, good luck with that, my friend. I hope that works. My chat is kind of freezing up here. So, oh, I'm back now. Okay. Well, everybody, that is about all I have. Linda says, you mentioned your brands. Do you mean different genres of music? Yes, Linda, I have probably 5 to 10 different brands. I have jazz brands, I have a piano music brand, I have different brands um, that I do for like more techno-y type stuff. I have stuff that I do more orchestral type things. So I have my composing stuff, which is more classical. So yes, I have different brands, and those different brands go to different places. And so, absolutely, I use all of those brands, and I don't use them under my name all the time. My composer brand is called John Eric Copeland Composer, but I also have Quiet Soul Piano, and you can find all those in the description below. I always put my music brands in every video, and you can go check them out and see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I do use different brands for different things, and now they all tend to go in my Pond 5 from the moment music is my publishing company. So they all tend to go in as that in all the the non-exclusive libraries. But yeah, I do have different brands that I use for sure because I separate them because I don't think you can just be one guy who does all these different styles. And you have to be identified by one brand name for each style. I think that works better. JMO says, I think selling your own songs that could be used for major broadcast or trailer is missing out on big money from huge sync upfronts such as trailer or ad. Sure. The only problem with trailers is that they are very time intensive and they are very, very good quality intensive. And so you have to have great sounds. You have to have great a good amount of time, and then you're pitching really these. I guess you could put these on Spotify as well and stuff like that. But trailers are so specialty. Now, are they big money? Yeah, there's people on our Discord that make a perfect fine living only on trailers. So you could absolutely do trailers and stuff like that. And even with my Positive Spin Songs brand, which is my exclusive kind of licensing brand that I'm really pushing out to exclusive libraries and to TV and film and advertising. Advertising is another thing we don't talk about enough on this channel. We talk about film and TV, and you hear people talk about film and TV because of Netflix and all that. But what we don't talk about is advertising. That's where the real money is, my friends. And so, yeah, trailers in ads or ad music is probably bigger budget, but again, it's probably very competitive, and it's also a lot of work and time. So it doesn't let you move as quickly. Linda says you need to have many fingers in different pies to maximize your income. Yes, it's a little messy of an analogy, Linda, but yes, that's true. Uh, I have so many plates up in the air that to keep them spinning all the time is a challenge, but it's fun challenge. You have to, and that's why Steve and I are going to talk about in just a little while doing everything for everything. But if you're doing trailers, that's enough. Trailers is so intensive and so broad and so much orchestrations involved a lot of times that there is just not time to do all of that kind of stuff. Rhett says, I made about $250, 250 jingles back in the day. Need to dig them up, cornball stuff, but I sold them. Yeah, jingles. Jingles are huge. I used to make a great living when I first started my production business off jingles for sure. 45 seconds of music and you make $4,500. I'll take it. And all of it's mostly MIDI except for the vocals. Are you kidding me? I'll do that all day long. Well, everybody, I'm going to cut this off now, and I hope some of this has been helpful to you. I hope you've learned some things today. And by my crazy experiments, by my evil genius ideas to make more music income, I hope that you have found some ideas in here, and I hope this has helped you to maybe experiment in September as well. Fret Noise says, thanks for the live chat. It was fun to finally make one. I'm so glad you made it. Yeah, everybody be safe out there. Rhett, thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody who was able to come to the stream today. Oleg, thanks for being here. And please be careful in Ukraine. we're all praying for your country and thinking about you and hoping everything resolves there well for you and all your mates. Plastic Beats, thanks for being here. Luca, see you next time. Signature Music, thanks for being here. Cheers to you as well, my friend, and everybody who is here. I hope you have a great day. Nick, I'm glad you found it helpful. That's kind of the point of this. I like doing it because I get instant feedback, which is really different. And so it's a lot of fun. Linda, thank you for your questions and being here. Arco, as always, thank you, my friend, for being here, and good luck with your next things that you're trying to do. Everybody, good luck with what you're trying to do in your experiments this month. And I'm going to end the stream. We'll talk to you next time. Everybody wave, wave, bye-bye. Bye. Enjoy your weekend. If you're getting a holiday weekend, I'm getting a holiday weekend this week, 3-day weekend. Woohoo. So we will see you later, and everybody have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye. 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 Bye.